Hi everyone and welcome to this new CSR talk session about our partnership between TP and UNICEF. I am very happy today to welcome Aki, who is Chief of Education at UNICEF Philippines. Hi Aki, and thanks for joining us today.
Hi Clementine, nice to see you again.
So Aki, we were lucky enough to visit some of the programs supported by UNICEF on the ground in the Philippines. And it would be interesting, I think, for our audience to understand a bit the country's context. And in your opinion, what are today the biggest educational challenges facing the Philippines?
Yeah, thank you, Clementine, and thank you for coming to the Philippines. So let me highlight three key challenges we face in the Philippine education sector. First of all, the Philippines has a serious learning crisis. The most recent study, done in 2024, has assessed the literacy level of the Filipino population, and as many as 30%, or almost 19 million people in the Philippines, are functionally illiterate, meaning that they may be able to read, they may be able to count and compute and write, but they are not able to comprehend what they're reading. So that's a huge challenge. And also, back in 2019, before the COVID-19 pandemic, we have done a learning assessment or test of grade 5 students, which is about 10 years old. And surprisingly, 9 out of 10 children who are in the grade 5 in the Philippine schools, they could not read at the expected level, and 83% of them are struggling with the basic mathematics. And moreover, as you may know, the Philippines has experienced one of the longest school closures in the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. And as a result of that, we estimated that among the grade 4 students in the Philippines, they are achieving only max or at best grade 1 or grade 2 level literacy and numeracy. And in some parts of the country, like Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao in the Philippines, the children there are even further behind by 2 additional years. So this is a huge learning crisis. That's the first biggest challenge. And secondly, in terms of access, we are still far from universal. The best possible solutions to the learning crisis to provide the high quality learning opportunities for the youngest children and onwards. And yet, among the children between 3 and 4 years old, only 20% of them are in preschool, or something we call child development centers in the Philippines, which Clementine, you visited with us. And 1 in 4 children of the 5 years old who should be in the kindergarten because it's a compulsory in the Philippines, still 25% of them are not attending it. And 6 years and above, about still 1.7 million children and adolescents are out of school. Some of them have already dropped out. So that's a huge challenge that they do not have the learning opportunities to lay the foundation for their lives and for their education to achieve their dreams. And last but not least, the third challenge we identify is about learning environments. In many schools, it's far from safe and resilient. As we talked about, Clementine, the Philippines has been ranked at number 1 in the risk index, or the world risk index, in the past several years. So that means that the children and students in the country have been experiencing more frequent or more devastating natural disasters, such as typhoons, flooding, or heat waves, also exacerbated by climate change. And as a result, on average, as many as 30 school days or 6 weeks in a year have been lost because they had to close the schools. And what happens to those children when they close the school again? Many of them do not have electricity, connectivity, and digital devices and so on, which make alternative learning possible. So these are the 3 challenges I can see in the Philippines education sector.
Well, thank you very much, Aki, for this background. It's very enlightening and show all of the interconnections of different factors and explaining a bit what are the main challenges you face. So in the Philippines, UNICEF is, of course, a prime organization and have many programs. Could you describe a bit for us how UNICEF is trying to respond and to help the needs of these children?
Yeah, thank you, Clementine. And UNICEF in the Philippines, as elsewhere, we focus on the most vulnerable and disadvantaged children. So they include children living in poverty, affected by conflicts or natural disasters, or facing discrimination. So for those children, high quality early childhood education and development can be a great equalizer in their development. It provides a critical window of opportunity to shape their learning, shape their future, to lay a strong foundation. So access to early childhood education and development opportunities can break those vicious cycles and problems at the earliest stage of their lives. So the children can be ready for the challenges they will face in their lives. So we also support foundational learning, social-emotional learning, skills development among the children and adolescents and young people, again, in the most disadvantaged communities in the country. At the UNICEF, we are focused on improving and strengthening and enhancing the education systems. What do we mean by that? So first of all, we support the government and other partners to develop solid education policies, legislations and laws and acts or standards, and also budgets based on solid data and evidence. And by working together with the policymakers, senior officials, civil society, universities, private sector, and other partners together. And secondly, to strengthen the education system, we support the effective implementation of those policies. If the policies do not get implemented on the ground, it just remains as a paper. So we want to really support the implementation so that we can learn what works and what doesn't, and how and why. And third and not last but not least, but we also do modeling, something called we call modeling on the ground. So to support the local stakeholders or local partners, those responsible for providing high quality education at the school level, community level, local government level, and so on, to really deliver and demonstrate what can be done in the local structures with local resources. So that's the way we want to really implement the effective policies on the ground and to support a scalable and sustainable results.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So, as you know, so TP has been supporting UNICEF since 2022 now, almost 3 years ago, including some support to education programs to the Philippines. Could you tell us how our support is helping make a difference in the country?
Yeah, so TP supports the UNICEF in the Philippines. So already has transformed the lives of more than 36,000 children between 3 and 4 years old, particularly those from disadvantaged communities, vulnerable households, and so on, to provide or by providing high quality early childhood education and development opportunities, and then make sure that those children who have that kind of opportunities for early learning can also transition smoothly to the next stage, kindergarten, primary education, to build the foundational skills and ensure their holistic development. So one of the major changes we are making together is the empowerment and development of the capacity of the child development workers or child development teachers on the ground who work in the child development centers, which is a preschool in the context of the Philippines, to support those young children. So far in the past few years, with TP for UNICEF support, we have already supported and empowered more than 1,600 of those child development workers and teachers by providing and supporting them to provide age-specific and play-based and culturally sensitive learning programs in different contexts across the Philippines. So by the new knowledge and skills they learned, those child development workers can provide high quality or better quality support, and also they could assess the children's status of the development. For example, by using some of the tools, they were able to identify early stages of the disabilities and disorders and delays, so that they can have a very timely interventions together with other experts and doctors and other partners. And also, with TP support, we were able to ensure that at the local level, those child development workers who were trained are getting constant and regular mentoring and coaching, and also have a community of practice among those child development workers so that they can learn from each other. So I think the experiences, lessons we have learned through the modeling on the ground, the TP for UNICEF partnership is really significantly contributing to also the national policies and budgets and legislation and so on. So it's not only about 36,000 children, which is also already many, but through those national system support with the TP resources, we were able to contribute and improve the national policies so that we can also benefit all young children in the Philippines.
Oh, that's amazing, and we're certainly very proud and happy to get that feedback from you. Would you have maybe an impactful story or testimony that marked you that you could share with us today about the programs supported?
Yeah, thanks very much. And I think you could agree or you could remember what you also have experienced and saw and observed yourself when we visited together the communities and child development centers. But one of the teachers, Teacher Krisha, whom I met in one of the child development centers in the northern Samar province in the country, she has been really demonstrating the power of what we have been doing together. So, for example, Teacher Krisha has gone through a various training program, which was designed for them to become better child development workers and teachers in those contexts. So one of the big examples she told me and showed me is about what she has learned in one of the training which focused on the music, movement, and art module. These things are super important for the young children to develop their fine motor skills and social emotional skills, not only their cognitive development, but also the physical and social emotional development. And she was able to demonstrate how she can organize the classes in such a manner that children really enjoy their development, their learning, but through the music, through dancing, through interacting with each other. I think that was a really fantastic moment that I was impressed by those support we have been providing together. And also, as I said, one of the two teachers I met in the province very proudly and confidently showed what she found through the assessment of each child she was teaching and supporting their development through those ECT toolkits, so through which she was able to identify some of the delays or some of the challenges each child has. So she was able to confidently explain what she was measuring to the parents in front of me and other colleagues. And also later, she had an individual meeting with each parent to share what she has found in each child so that she can also encourage and empower parents at home to support their children's development. So they're working together very closely. I think that's a really beautiful one to bridge the gap between the home and school and education. So this is the kind of impacts I can immediately remember about the support we have been providing together. But again, as I said earlier, the national level system support is critical. So one example is that through the TP for UNICEF support, we have been supporting the development and implementation of the early child care and development strategic plan 2030 and its investment plan, which sets a target for the entire country, what to achieve with what kind of resources, how to measure and monitor those progresses, and how to improve the implementation of them. So that's a big one. And also, by the way, just today, I have learned that the president of the country has signed the new act called Early Child Care and Development Systems Act, to which we have contributed through our technical support and assistance using the resources made available by TP for UNICEF support. So thank you very much. That will make a huge impact on the young children in the years to come in the country.
Excellent. No, that's very great to hear, Aki. And as you mentioned, I was lucky enough to go to the site visit, to a field visit with you a couple of months ago, and I totally join you in all of this inspiration. And it was really an inspiring experience. Especially, I was amazed by the energy of the people, the level of engagement from the early child workers, the social workers, the teachers, the local government. So at every step, we could feel this sense of coordination, working together. That was, of course, enabled by UNICEF and this level of energy. I recall as well, we visited a school which was extremely advanced in terms of inclusivity. They were welcoming many children with some disabilities, some visually impaired, some hearing impaired, and it was extremely impactful for me to see how they could actually welcome different profiles, different abilities, and create all of this synergy. And we witnessed how you were basically training all of these children how to react in case of natural disasters. Because, as you recall at the beginning of this talk, Philippines is the first country in the world at risk for natural disasters. So that's really something that is critical. And we could see how the children were actually empowered on these trainings, and then they would train again their own colleagues, teammates, but also families, and really how it could spread to the entire community. So, it's really what I like the most, I guess, from this experience is how it all connected, interconnected to make a bigger impact. So moving on a bit, so as we said, so UNICEF and TP has been in partnership for 3 years. We are now very happy to announce that we are renewing our partnership, and we will be formally announcing it very shortly. So very happy to do so. With TP support, what would you say as priorities? What are your priorities in terms of education programs that you would like to implement or to improve for the next 3 years? Is there something in particular that you would like to highlight for the years to come?
Yeah, and thank you very much, Clementine. And first of all, on behalf of UNICEF Philippines, I just want to thank you and the whole TP team and all those who contributed to the collaboration. I just want to thank you, because the resources and your commitment, your willingness to work together with us are making a difference in the lives of children in the Philippines. They are not without challenges. As I said at the beginning of this conversation, the challenges are huge. But I think the renewed partnership and commitment and the way we work together can be a good example for all the other partners who could join hands with us to contribute further to this big picture and dream what we want to achieve. That is to provide the high quality early childhood education for all children, particularly the most vulnerable and disadvantaged children in the country. So with your continued support, of course, we are very excited to continue our work, what we have just started, to really see through what is possible, what is not feasible in different contexts of the country. Because the Philippines is a very diverse country with different contexts, different languages, different cultures, different resources. but our goal is to really achieve the lifelong learning and development for all children. So with the TP support for UNICEF in the next years to come, we really want to take advantage of the current huge momentum we have in the country. From the top of the government and policymakers, politicians, and academia, private sector, they all talk about early childhood education and development every day. This is really a rare moment we can see. So we need to seize this opportunity which we have now. So we would like to really strategically utilize the resources made available by TP for UNICEF partnerships for both, again, to make the real changes on the ground and to really have a rigorous assessment and evaluation and studying and learn the lessons of what is possible in different contexts, particularly in the vulnerable communities in the Philippines. What is possible and how? And to share that, to really make those lessons available and to make those lessons useful for the entire country through our support at the national level, national strategic system level, through the governance and so on, so that we can have not only starting the early childhood education, but also ensuring a smooth transition to the next level and next level, so that we can ensure the child's learning and development in the future. So we are very excited. We are going to share what we are learning and what we are doing and what we are changing with UTP. And I hope you would again come back to join us to see and celebrate and learn what we have been able to do. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Aki. I think it was incredibly interesting, all of this talk, and we learned a lot about the education context in the Philippines, the programs you are supporting. So thanks again for joining. I also encourage our audience to watch the documentary that we made based on the field visits that we did in the Philippines, because you can then watch firsthand all of the children we met, the teachers, etc. So all of the programs that we've just described, it was just a peek into it, but you should definitely watch the documentary and have the full experience. So thanks again, Aki. Very happy and proud to work with UNICEF and you. So thanks.